Edition of the On the Mic podcast is here, and this weekend, plenty of MMA action to be watched. Plenty of events going on, and one event you can't miss is CFFC 117 in the co-main event for the vacant heavyweight title. Man, not only am I excited because he's a great fighter, he's a hell of a fighter, he's exciting to watch. He's got the best nickname in all of fighting, probably some of the best hair in all of fighting. First time on the show, Greg Velasco, the Viking King. Sir, how are you?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. And I appreciate you making the time. Now, first and foremost, I know I don't look like somebody who would be into it. I absolutely love Viking Age and all of that. So if you can, since this is my first time talking to you, how did the Viking King come to exist?
Honestly, because I started with Muay Thai first. A buddy of mine, because I had the long hair and all my tattoos, he saw me, and after I won the WK national title, he just screamed Viking King, and after that, it just stuck like glue. And that whole theme just rode with it.
Yeah, it pretty much fits you. It fits you perfectly. Are you actually a fan of that kind of the Viking Age and all that?
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I love Norse mythology and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't I always liked it, playing God of War and all those games and Thor and everything, and I had the look and everything like that, but that didn't really push till later on when I got the nickname and I really dug into it.
I was gonna say, after fighting, are you taking over Thor's position in the Marvel world?
That'd be sick. That'd be sick.
I mean, you just fight everyone for the spot, and I think you'll be Thor. So I think you're good. But a perfect start to your fighting career so far as a professional. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything else. You're 29 years old. I mean, you're just hitting your prime. You're just getting to where, a lot of fighters hope they can be. But at 5-0, how do you feel your career has gone so far?
I have no complaints, man. CFFC's taking care of me real well. Obviously, everyone wants to call as soon as they can, but I'm patient. I'm just taking one opponent at a time, and I respect every guy that goes in there, man. I know how hard this is, the training that we go through, so I'm happy where I'm at. I just want to keep learning, keep growing, become the best martial artist I can be for the next show,
And that's another thing. You look at your record, you look at your history, all your pro fights have been with CFFC. It's so rare to see that. Obviously, yes, I understand what you mean by the big call. And, I'll ask you about last month, February, and how everything kind of transpired there. But when you the sport, so I'm not talking to like a 19-year-old who, is just getting into it. When you have a promotion like CFFC, world-renowned CFFC, and you've been with them every step of the way in your professional career, it may not be the call you're waiting for, but it's damn sure the best place you can begin your career. How has that relationship with CFFC been for you?
See, like I said, CFFC has been great with me from the start. I started with them in the Amis. I had a couple fights with them there. And just building with them, they've always been good to me, took care of me. They give me all these opportunities, so I really can't complain, man. They looked out for me, and then when I need a fight and I ask them, they get me one. So,
well, especially being from the East Coast in Jersey, where I've lived, I think I've lived in your state 3 times. So okay. I've been around. I'm originally from Chicago, but I've spent some time plenty of time in Jersey. To see that, here, I can speak from both places a little bit. I never got to go to a CFFC event, but I know in Chicago, pretty much all of MMA is dying. There's there's a few promotions, but there is definitely no CFFC. For that, knowing what hotbed New Jersey is for MMA, to have a promotion like CFFC, I don't want to say always fighting in your backyard, but how good does it feel to have a promotion that's so respected right where you're from?
Oh, it's awesome, dude. It's I couldn't ask for a better opportunity because it's so close, like you said. Otherwise, I'd be traveling from show to show, looking out where I can ever get a fight. So, the CFFC has been so good. Like you said, they're so renowned. They're always able to find me opponents no matter where I'm looking. I'm not having a hard time struggling. So, before this, in the Amis, you always have a hard time getting opponents to stick to it. But now with them, because they have the big name and the huge media presence with UFC Fight Pass, guys want to fight you. So, it's nice. It's a big change.
With 4 finishes and 5 fights, I mean, we're looking to keep that going, aren't we?
I hope so.
But there's something to be said, though, because obviously, you go and you have great success in those 4 finishes. Your last fight, you fight to a unanimous decision. with that, do you feel like, especially because that was your fifth win, and now you're getting into that area where 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, not only the UFC but other promotions start to really take notice and they really want to pick up the phone, especially at heavyweight, man. I mean, at 5-0 at a heavyweight, like you're smooth sailing. But did you learn something maybe a little bit more about yourself in terms of a fighter, maybe character wise, fighting to a decision?
Yeah, big time. Just because that last fight was for the championship, so it was really big to know I can go that distance and push through and dominate for all 4 rounds. Because, like you said, when you finish early, you're getting all this early success. It's exciting, but you're not learning and seeing how far you pushed yourself or how far you can really go and dig through all the adversity. So I feel like going to that decision and doing all the rounds of 20 minutes definitely taught me a lot about myself and where I can go and how much more I have to grow as a fighter.
And obviously, having already won the belt, this fight upcoming, being for the vacant belt, how excited is
the defense?
The defense? Excuse me.
Yeah.
How excited are you for the opportunity to go in there, defend your belt, and apologies on my miswording there, but to go in there, defend your belt, and really, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't want to call your shots for you, but if you improve to 6-0, you defend your belt. I don't want to be like the cliche. What else? What else is there to do? But really, what else would be there for you to do?
I don't know, man. I'm just hoping, like you said, I defend it. I got a real tough opponent, so hopefully we get through this tall task first, and then we'll see. But like you said, I'm hoping that's it.
Now, I know you had been scheduled with PFL Challenger Series. Was it just health and you, like, what happened there?
That was a big mess, man. That was a whole mess with my old management I had, and there was no communication between anyone. So I got told one thing, it was something else, and I didn't want to backstab nobody and leave anybody hanging. So I was like, I'm going to finish out, stay with CFFC because they've been good to me and do what I have to do, and then go make the next level when the time comes. So it just wasn't meant to be, and it was a big miscommunication.
Well, I think the time is right around the corner for you, especially listen, I've seen your fights, but I had, not having the chance to talk to you. Watching fights and having a chance to talk to someone are two totally different things. So I'm getting more excited for you this weekend. Definitely going to have CFFC 117 fired up on Fight Pass this weekend to be able to watch you fight, because for me, now that I've established this connection with you, now I'm rooting even more. This is why I got into the sport, to see fighters like yourself take themselves to that next level. If you go in there and do what you expect to do against Ronald Coleman, I mean, what's your message? It doesn't matter if it's PFL, UFC, Bellator, unless you have a specific promotion you obviously would like to fight for. Most say the UFC, but what is your message to the bigger promotions?
I'm here and I'm ready.
Well, with that, I mean, is the UFC obviously the number one choice for you?
Yeah, I would definitely love to fight for them. They're a great organization, and that's who the CFFC tries to make you go with. And I have there's no complaints, man. Like, all the best guys are there, and you want to be the best, you got to fight the best. So
probably the greatest fighter of all time, also in your division. I think that adds a little fuel to the fire. But I'll ask you this, because as I said, and I'm not brown nosing here, I'm just going off of what I've seen from you, in the cage. Where do you think you would stand tomorrow among the UFC's heavyweight division?
I feel like I can compete with any of them, man. Like, you just give me enough time to prepare, I'm ready to go. So for me, I feel as an overall heavyweight, I'm very well balanced. I don't feel I'm stuck in one genre where, like, most guys are like, they're huge bangers, big haymaker guys knocking you out all the time, or guys who strictly go for one thing. I'm an opportunist. So whatever you give me, I'm taking.
Yeah, and that's different for a heavyweight, obviously, because everybody watches heavyweight because they want to see the big boys bang it out, and they want to see them, brawl till they fall, basically.
Yes, 100%.
But there is something, in my opinion, beautiful about that not happening, where a heavyweight can showcase being a true martial artist. Is that something you take a lot of pride in?
Yes, I take a lot of pride in that, because like you said, everybody wants to see the big bangs and all the knockouts and guys kill each other in there. But at the end of the day, your career doesn't last long when you're like that. You can only do it for so long when you're trying to kill each other every time. So for me, showing that you could be a true martial artist, use technique and skill. I appreciate that more than anything else.
I know you said your nickname started in Muay Thai, but
Yep.
I've got to ask, everyone has their own journey, their own story. I'm curious, having, talking to you for the first time, what led you into the sport?
Uh, High school, man, wrestling. I started wrestling. I really fell in love with just the one-on-one competition and like trying to push yourself and better yourself to the next level. And then after that, really fell in love. I was a huge John Jones fan, like we said, the greatest fighter in my weight class, and just followed his career. And I was like, damn, I really want to do that. And then just kept pursuing it throughout my whole career. So
Have you ever sat back and imagined you standing across from John?
sometimes, well, now that he's here, definitely now.
I was going to say, now that he's in heavyweight, and again, man, you're in the right promotion at CFFC to get yourself that call to the UFC. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody here, but the UFC's heavyweight division has John and a bunch of other people wanting to fight John. And that's no disrespect to Stipe Miocic, who's the greatest heavyweight, in my opinion, of all time. John being the greatest fighter of all time. But after that, you've got Curtis Blades and a bunch of people who believe they're right there, who believe they can stand across from him. For me, looking at someone like you who wants to showcase their true martial arts ability, I think the fact that you're, and this is, I guess this is taking a shot at all other heavyweights who want to get to the big stage. It's truly not about just knocking everybody out. So I love the fact that you're looking to showcase all forms of martial arts, because I think that truly sends a message to the UFC and every other promotion that you're a different breed.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Cause like you said, it's not about always just knock. I know that's what the casuals love to see is the blood and the people getting killed, but that's not what it's about. It's mixed martial arts for a reason. You got to be a true martial artist. Look at the greats like GSP and everybody. They're well-rounded. Everybody's well-rounded. John Jones, well-rounded. Guys are all well-rounded.
And you talk about, you mentioned my favorite word. I always ask fighters when they finally bring it up, casuals, right? Because in this sport, it's all about fanfare. It's all about following. It's all about this. You could light up 14 opponents in a row, but if you somehow don't catch the public's eye, you're just another guy.
Exactly.
For you, how do you try to separate from, okay, I know I'm a hell of a fighter. I know I need to have a following, which I know you do, but also I can't get caught up in what casuals are saying or what they're saying online, and I don't need to focus on the casuals because they don't really matter. How do you balance all that?
It's honestly, for me, it's always been something where like I try to always keep the distractions away and not look too much into social media. I know it's a huge part of the sport now, like you were saying. That's honestly probably the worst part of my MMA career is the fact that I'm not super active on social media. I probably need to be more, but it's hard, man. Like that's just a part of the game that I'm still learning as well, being into this. But to ignore it, man, it's easy. I've always blocked haters. There's always been haters throughout everything. Football, MMA, wrestling. People aren't gonna like you for whatever reason. They don't like the way you look, talk. I don't know. So for me, keeping that away and just trying to focus on the goal at hand has always been my job. So that's what I try to do.
Absolutely, man. I absolutely love it. So Ronald Coleman, let's get to CFFC 117 here. I won't take up too much more of your time. I do appreciate you making the time for me. What do you see in your opponent?
To me, from what I've heard, he's a wrestler, a 4-time state champ. So I'm assuming he has a very good background in grappling. But from what I saw so far, he's just very heavy-handed. He likes to box. He comes forward aggressive. So I assume he's gonna be another tough dude. Very good chin, I'm assuming, and then just comes at me aggressively, and then he's probably gonna try to knock me out like most heavyweights. So I'm just gonna try to keep to my game plan and not get hit.
Well, I never ask a fighter for their game plan, but I would ask you this: if he's a high, state champion wrestler, and he's heavy-handed, that's got to excite you, right? Because again, as we've been talking about, a true martial artist, if he's got that background, he's got that pedigree, that's going to allow you the opportunity to showcase everything: striking defense, wrestling defense. I mean, this sounds like the best matchup.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's one of those fights that really motivates you to push yourself to the next level, and I'm super excited for him and grateful for him to take this fight. And I can't wait for it tomorrow, Friday night. So,
what should the fans, not only in attendance at CFFC, but those watching around the world, those watching on Fight Pass, and really the promoters, if anybody's watching, what should they know about this fight, and what should they expect in this fight?
I think they should just be ready for a show. It's going to be super exciting, and I'm going to pull out all the displays I can, whatever way I can. I'm going to try to take the opportunity that's given to me. So I think they just got to keep their eyes open and keep watching.
I know it's a weird question because you're looking to take that next step after this, but what would your schedule, your perfect timeline for the rest of 2023 look like?
Um, I don't know, man. I try to be active. So for me, it's like if we come out of this fight unscathed, God willing, like everything goes right, and we get the job done. I would like to fight another 4 months, and then fight again after that. So as long as the body's willing and I can keep it together, I'll be ready to go again.
I absolutely love that. And I know now you're with First Round, and it would be dumb of me to not ask you this because you mentioned previous management and not taking shots, but just somebody who's at a really good point in their career and at 29 years old, and you understand this game, you're very well spoken. How important is it, whether it be for you or maybe other fighters who will hear this, or just people in general who will hear this? How important is it to have the right team? What, not just coaches, not just training partners, but management? Because I think, I mean, I don't have a perfect example, but I think there are plenty of gym warrior legends, right? That
Yes.
never got their opportunity because they didn't have the right management or they trusted the wrong people, and we'll never know their names and we'll never know how good they are. So for you, how important was it to find the right management and really now begin to set that path forward for yourself? Because like I said, and I keep saying, and I'm not just saying it to kiss ass because you're on here, but you're really one fight, maybe what, just this fight away from that next step in your career.
Like you said, I think it's huge to have the right people behind you, supporting you, backing you, and like pushing you. Because in this game, like you said, there's so many guys out there, super talented, super like warriors in the gym that you don't hear about because no one's helping them or pushing them. But like you said, you got to find someone you trust and someone that's going to really support you and do the right things behind your back. So it's like it is hard to find, but once you do find, you got to keep it and just work, man.
Well, I've really appreciated your time, Greg. I would say normally a fighter from Jersey, a hell of a fighter from Jersey. Man, I wish we would have had this interview when I lived there, because I would have been like, I would love to learn from you, but I don't know what my 150-pound ass would be doing training alongside a heavyweight. Don't want to get my ass kicked, but definitely love to learn from the best. But I definitely, if I'm making a trip to Jersey anytime soon, may want to do an in-person interview with you because I think you've got a great story. Like I said, I think you're very well spoken. I think you're one fight away, Greg, and I think 2023 could really be something special for you. I really appreciate the time.
I appreciate it, and I hope you're right, brother. That'd be awesome.
Well, hopefully
All
we can
right.
talk after this fight, and you'll be taking on Ronald Coleman, defending, not vacating, or fighting for the vacated belt. You will be defending your heavyweight title at CFFC 117 this Friday, March 31st. Sir, thank you so much for your time. All the best.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But